my God. What an epic intro, Kevin. We are back, baby. ATC is back following the Cavs blowout of the Toronto Raptors. I, of course, am Joey Schneider, back with Believeland Media, back with ATC, All Things Cavaliers, and I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Sledz. Man, it's reunited, and it feels so good, doesn't it, Kevin?
It's so nice to have you back. One of the OGs of the All Things Cavalier podcast. Great to have you back. Back to shake off the rust and get this thing going again.
No rust here, my friend. No rust here. I want to jump straight in.
Let's do it.
17 of 18, Kevin. Another blowout when teams are scoring. I believe they said today 115 points is the normal in the NBA, and the Cavs are holding teams to below 100. I mean, it's unbelievable. 9 games in a row, which ties the longest streak of the year by any team. And they're doing it by committee. 8 players today in double figures. Donovan Mitchell didn't have to go and be a hero. I mean, this team is just – the chemistry is out of this world, and it's so much fun to watch. Most people don't like blowouts. I love blowouts during the regular season. It's the greatest thing in the world. I don't care what anyone says. I don't want a game that's a 3-point game that comes down to the end. I know that we're going to have those, and those are the types of games you need to have to become battle tested for the playoffs. But man, just seeing this team just beating everyone the way that they're doing it it's a joy to watch right now.
Yeah, I have no problem with the blowouts. I prefer them as well. But like you said, you look at tonight, Mitchell only had to score 15 points, 8 guys in double figures. You had Mobley with 17, Jared Allen, 18 points, 15 rebounds. He just continues with the double-double. I know that streak got ended because he got that one stripped away, the rebound stripped away that ended it. But he's on another one here. Strus had 14, Coral 12, Levert 13, Niang 13. I mean, just total team effort tonight, and they went on a 21-4 run in that second quarter and really put the game away then, because I don't think the Raptors got any closer than 15 the rest of the way. So, yeah, great team effort tonight, and they just keep rolling on.
And this is something that I think, a lot of people talk about it, and they want to talk about the big names. You just mentioned, Allen and Mobley both had double-doubles in this game. And Allen has been playing at an all-star level most of the year, but especially when Mobley went out. Mitchell is an all-star. Garland seems to be getting his feet back under him a little bit after his injury. He had 11 points, 8 assists tonight, 3 boards. This defense has been absolutely outstanding. And I think that you can tell that this team, when they're playing defense and they turn it into offense, they are having so much fun out there.
Yes,
when you have that team who is willing to do all the dirty things that you need to do to turn that into points on the offensive on the offensive side of the ball, that is what we are seeing. That is the fruit of their labor, is that they're willing to get in there and bang on D, and that is turning that into offensive points. On top of that, I'm not going to sit here and criticize the refs, because that's just, sometimes it's just the way the game is played. But it seemed like every single foul was going towards the Raptors, and the Cavs just weren't getting there. The only person who seemed like he was getting to the line was Okoro on the and ones, because, I mean, when he drives the lane, it's it's about to get violent, and he's really done a great job this year of showing his that he's been working on the offensive side as well as being arguably defensive player of the year. I think that he is in that discussion. If he is not, I think that you are blind. He is guarding the best player on the floor every night, and he's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Mobley's threes looking better and better and better. Since he's come back, he's definitely made his presence felt. And I mean, this team is just rolling, and it's funny because there's never a point where you don't feel that they're in control of the game. It just
100%.
It especially on this streak, especially in these 17 of 18 games. And I believe their last loss was to Toronto. I think this is what they said, right?
The Cavs last loss.
Yeah,
It was Milwaukee at
Milwaukee. That's right. Okay,
when they played them back to back, they lost the first one and won the second one.
That's right. But it right now, the way they're playing, it feels like they're always in control, and if they're not in the lead, it feels like they're never out of it. So right now, the way they're playing is absolutely mind-blowing to me, and it's like I said, it's an absolute joy to watch it. As a fan, I mean, how can you not be excited about this team? I mean, this team is phenomenal, and it's constructed the right way. It's deep. You have your stars. You know, you have Donovan Mitchell. You got Allen playing like an all-star. We got DG back. Just got to get his legs under him. Mobley playing amazing since he came back. And then just this huge depth. I mean, Merrill got 10 minutes. He got it at the end. Hit 2 threes because that's what Sam Merrill does. But I mean, it's just. You know, they played 11 guys a night. I mean, that's outstanding. I mean, and that didn't include Craig Porter Jr. So amazing show by the Cavs again tonight. Another huge blowout. And I mean, what else can you say about this team? You know, really.
No, and you mentioned the improvement with Okoro, especially with his shot. I mean, you ask any of the Knicks players last season in that playoff series who they were going to leave open, and I guarantee every one of them would say Isaac Okoro. And he's made such a big improvement offensively. And then, I mean, I know a lot of people are freaking out about what the Knicks added at the trade deadline, which, you know, they did a great job of making the deals. But, I mean, this is a different Cavaliers team. I mean, you look at the guys they've added with Max Strus and Sam Merrill playing more minutes, George Niang. I mean, they've got the outside shooting now that they need. And, I mean, it's even a different mindset with the big men. And Jared Allen, you've seen more toughness from him this year, not backing down, especially from Ben Simmons.
I wouldn't back down for Ben Simmons.
No, that guy's a soft as Charmin.
You know, this team, and I'm not worried about the Knicks. I think, you know, I do think the Knicks definitely upgraded a little bit, but yeah. I think that they kind of hurt themselves too, because I really am a fan of Emmanuel Quickly. I like Quentin Grimes. I don't know why he didn't get more minutes. You know, Randall is out for who knows how long. I liked that they traded for OG Anunoby. I really like him as a player. You know, great player. So I think the Knicks did a good job at the trade deadline. And, you know, obviously they're waiting for some guys to get healthy. But I did not want the Cavs to make a deal. And a lot of people were talking about, you know, maybe trying to get Royce O'Neal from Brooklyn. He ended up going, I can't remember where he went. But I don't Phoenix. I don't think that they needed to make a deal. This team is so deep right now, and their chemistry is so good. There is no deal unless you were able to somehow get a you know, maybe a 3, like a Mikal Bridges, without having to give up too much. But even at that point, is it necessary with the way that this team is playing? They believe in each other. They believe in the coaches. And when you're rolling like this, you don't mess with it. You know, it's just you don't want to mess with the chemistry. And you have guys who right now, you know, like we said, you know, 8 guys in double figures. Okay, well, who you gonna trade out of that bunch? And the answer should be nobody, because everyone's playing at such a great level right now. The second team's clicking. There's such great rotational pieces. You know, are you trading Sam Merrill? No. I mean, I don't care if he comes off the bench, gives you great energy, 10 minutes, you know, at the end, but he's also been in there in games where they're winning by, you know, they're winning by 30, and he hit five threes. I mean, he's a sharpshooter. You know, the G-Wagon. I love George Niang. One of the funniest people one of the funniest athletes I've ever met. He is absolutely hysterical. But the way he plays is he's just banging in there and doing what needs to be done. I love seeing him in double digits because I don't feel like Philadelphia used him the way that he should have been used. And he fell into the Cavs' lap and he's making an impact. And again, Isaac Okoro, me and Brandon, for those of you, my former coach Brandon Lewis,
going back.
Brandon was not the biggest Isaac Okoro fan, but he was someone who I would consistently say, okay, he's going to step up. He's going to step up, and to see him step up this year, the way that he has been, it's been great to see, because not only is he even better defensively than he has ever been, but he is amazing. It's amazing to see him hit the three at the rate that he is. I believe he's just shy of, I think he's like 39% or just shy of 40%. And to see him be more comfortable slashing to the rim, getting to the rim, and being able to show that he is much more than just a defensive player has been great.
Yeah, and you mentioned the trade deadline. I mean, you heard Kobe Altman went to the team and asked them, do you think we need to add anybody? And they all said the same thing. No, we're good. We don't want to disrupt what we have. I mean, could they have, traded Dean Wade and second round picks to Brooklyn for Royce O'Neal? Yeah, but I mean, where is he going to play right now?
Exactly.
Who's he going to replace in the rotation? Nobody.
I agree with Derek. I agree with Derek right here. Ice is becoming the 3 and D that this team needed.
Yeah, he is.
I agree with you, Derek. Unfortunately, he's going to become, he's going to be off the bench. Strus, I think, has firmly planted himself in the starting lineup, and I'm totally fine with that. He plays good D. He's able to run with anybody, and he can hit the 3 ball as well. But man, being able to have someone. I agree with you, Koos. Sam is. What a lot of people have been saying, if Sam Merrill was a little bit taller, he'd be Kyle Korver.
That's who he reminds me of, honestly.
Well, yeah, the only difference is that Kyle Korver, I think, is like 3 or 4 inches taller.
Yeah.
Sam Merrill, again, great kid. Had a great conversation with him at Media Day, and I'm glad to see him doing well in this lineup. James, we know the game slows and the rotation shortens in the playoffs. How will the team adjust? I think that's a very great question. And I think that we'll probably see more of that towards the end of the season, depending on if we know where we're going to land. We're going to have the 2 seed, the 3 seed right now. We're looking really good, but there's still a lot of basketball left to be played before we get to the playoffs. We haven't even hit the All-Star break yet. But I think you probably have to look at end of the season, who's still hot. If you can run 9 guys out there, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. I mean, I think Okoro probably, has to be in there. A Levert has to be in there. Who do you shut out? Do you shut out someone like Dean Wade, 6'8", 6'9"? On a good night, Dean Wade is dangerous. Do you shut out, or do you sit out Niang, who is a banger? It's tough. It's tough. With I'm assuming you're with the Dean Wade. I just think that you have to see at the end of the season, who's really been consistent and who's got the hot hand at the moment. But I think that is a really good problem to have right now compared to what we had last year, where everyone was screaming we needed more depth. And, now we're like, well, who's going to sit out? So such a huge, and that's really big. That's a really big thing, Kevin, is to go from one extreme of we don't have the amount of players to, we had like a 7-man rotation, 6-man, I think, at a game against the Knicks last year, to now saying we have such a big rotation. Who do we sit out? That's a great problem to have for a team who's sitting at second in the East right now and is on a 9-game win streak, won 17 of 18. That's a massive, massive thing. That is just it's like an embarrassment of riches. What do you say to that? But we'll see towards the end of the year. From Derek, enjoy this ride while we are on it. A lot can change in 2 months heading into the playoffs. Derek, you are 100% right. A lot can change. But I'm going to be honest. I think that this Cavs team, if they lost their next game, they're going to come back out stronger. And I think you'd see them win another 4 or 5 in a row. The way that their chemistry is right now, the way that they're playing, they all seem to trust each other. And, one thing that kind of sticks out to me, especially in this time right now, is there was, earlier in the season, it was a bit of a trying time when the Cavs were sitting, 6th, almost 7th in the East before this. And at media day, Darius Garland was at the podium and someone asked the question, where do you see yourself in the East? And Darius just kind of mean mugged this question, and he said, "Where do you see us sitting in the East?" And
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the gentleman's name who asked it, but because he's a great guy. And it was a good question. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see the team? And Darius seems like he took it a little personal, and he said, "Where do you see us?" He said, "I don't know. I'm asking you." He's like, "And I'm asking you." He's like, "I don't know, like 3rd or 4th." He's like, "Okay." Darius said, "Okay." He's like, "Okay, if that's where you see us, now we're going to show you." And now, here they are. It is February 10th. We're 2 games away from the All-Star break. And the Cavs are in lone possession of second place in the East, with a 35-16 record. Absolutely absolutely ridiculous. And 2 games in front of Milwaukee, 3 games of New York. So we'll see what happens. But I think that this team's going to be this good for a while.
Yeah, Koos asked the question, talk about Mobley shooting 3. Do you support or no? Absolutely support, because while he was out, that's what he worked on, and it shows. He's got more arc on the shot. Last year, he was shooting line drives and bricking them, which I was not supportive of last year. But yes, for sure, with the improved form, the improved rotation, yes, I'm definitely 100% with him shooting 3s.
I think that and I don't mean to interrupt you here.
No, you're good.
Quick thought on that. I think that as long as he can consistently do that for the rest of the season, I don't have a problem with it. But I think that if he starts getting back into bad habits with that, then maybe go back to inside the arc, maybe the elbow or something like that. But
yeah,
the way he's shooting right now, he's got such pretty touch on those 3s. They're dropping. So right now, I have no problem with it. And if it gives him that confidence going in, then yeah, absolutely have no problem with it.
Yeah, and he said space is the floor more, which it absolutely does. The more 3-point shooters you have out there, the better, and that just opens up more for Mitchell and Garland as well. But you go back, talk about the injuries right now. Some of the other teams, we went through the injuries with Mobley and Garland going down at the same time, and we were 13-12. And there were GMs around the league that were blowing up Kobe's phone asking for Mitchell's availability because they thought they were just going to pack it in, mail it in. And they did the opposite. Mitchell did the superstar thing. He became the superstar, and he carried this team. And they went the complete opposite direction. And now we've got our guys back, and you've got Philadelphia with Embiid going down for most of the season now. You got New York where Anunoby's out, Julius Randle's out. So other teams are experiencing what we experienced, and they're going the opposite direction that we went. So you see how big that was, and all those guys stepped up in place of those two. And just did an amazing job of getting them up to the 2nd seed now.
Well, I think that's what that's what superstars do. You step up and you say, okay, you know what, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to go out there. We're going to win some games. Or you do, maybe, like you said, the Knicks are hurting bad right now, and they're not pulling out the wins. And that's a difference between a superstar and maybe an all-star. If you want to put them in the tiers, Donovan Mitchell's absolutely a superstar in this league. And that's what superstars do. They're able to rally their team, get the best out of their players, and big credit obviously to Jared Allen. I mean, he was playing as good as any center in the league. Outside of Jokic and maybe Embiid, but that's not his game. But Allen was playing as good, just about as good as any center in the NBA, and still is, right now. But him stepping up big when Mobley went down was huge for this team. So, and it's not, you're not just going to give the credit to Mitchell, but you got to give it to the whole team. Everyone stepped up in their absence. Sam Merrill, big, that's how, when they were out, that's when he stepped up huge and was knocking down threes and getting himself minutes. It was, it's exactly what this team needed, and it was able to get him more into the rotation. It was to show them, the depth that this team has. And again, we have good players that are down playing for the Charge, which is hard to imagine. I mean, I love Craig Porter Jr., Amani Bates. I'll tell you, I even love Pete Nance. I think Pete Nance, if given a chance, can show you something here in the NBA at the NBA level. So, not only is this team so deep, but they got guys down in the G League who are, maybe not ready, 100% ready yet, but in the future could be great rotational guys or maybe even a starter. So this Cavs team is something, man. It's something unbelievable what we're witnessing right here. I didn't see what did James say? Something about the Guardians.
Just hoping we don't peak like the 22 game win streak.
Oh, there we
go. Yeah.
Yeah, James, I agree. But I think, I don't know. I think obviously different sports. Yeah, there's a momentum thing to it, but I think that baseball, one player isn't going, one player can't make the biggest difference, but Donovan could put up 45 in a night and make all the difference in the world. Koos just said, let's talk about Karras and his role. He's been fantastic for us. You know what? 100% agree. A lot of people with the Karras slander as of late, and I hate it. Karis LeVert is such a dependable player. He could do a little bit of everything. Passing. He hit the three. He can get to the rim, create his own shot. Rebounding, defense. I mean, anything you could do, Karis LeVert could do it. Again, I talked to him media day, and he talked a little bit about that, about kind of just being able to do a little bit of everything. And he's so just wildly nice and extremely humble. And yet he goes out there and he does what he needs to do, whatever he needs to be that particular night on the court. That's exactly what he is. And that's what the Cavs need. If you need some scoring, Karis LeVert's there to step it up. If your defense is lacking, Karis LeVert is there to step it up. If you're getting killed on the offensive boards, he is in there trying to, banging amongst the trees, trying to get the offensive board. He is, by all means, in my opinion, should be in consideration for Sixth Man of the Year.
Oh, without a doubt. He's one of the top bench scorers in the league. I mean, he's come in, as the primary ball handler on that second team. I mean, not having a true point guard with, Rubio retiring and Jerome having the world's worst ankle sprain that never seems to get better.
Man, and I'll tell you what, I think that I don't know if we're going to see him this year, but I really hope that we do, because he's another guy that could give you good minutes off of the bench. I mean, he's 6'5", great ball handling, great court vision. You don't need him to score 20 points a night, because he's not that guy. But I mean, he would come off for Golden State 12-15 minutes, and his stat line would be like 10 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. You're like, oh my God, like, what's going on here? So, unfortunately he got Ty Jerome's been out for the year, but when he comes back, I think that I don't know how you're going to get him in this lineup, but I think that he can show you what he could do too.
And he can shoot the ball as well. So there you go. Just another shooter to add to the lineup.
James. Vinny Johnson was the microwave, Levert is the air fryer.
That's good. I like that.
James, I love it. I'll tell you one player who I just can't say enough about is George Niang, the G-Wagon, the minivan. I had to ask him about the nickname immediately. I think he's answered this question a million times, and he's just so funny. I mean, before I interviewed him, he was funny, but it doesn't matter if the camera's in his face or it's not. He is outrageously just doesn't take a lot of things seriously unless it's on the court. When it's on the court, it's time. But outside, he was making everybody laugh. Asked him about the nickname, and he just said, it's a minivan. It's reliable, get you where you need to go. I mean, and I asked him, I was like, I've heard a bunch of, different, how you got the nickname, and he gave himself the nickname for those reasons. I'm like, you give yourself a nickname and it sticks. I mean, how great is that? So
that's awesome.
I love seeing him do here what he should have been doing in Philadelphia. I mean, that's what that team needed. And, obviously they, from my opinion, they weren't using him the way that he needed to be used. And, but it's different situations. Everything runs through Embiid in Philadelphia. Luckily they have Maxey, who stepped up big time, but, you need role players, and that's what the Cavs have. Then their loss is our gain, because he is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, he's rolling out there with the dad bod. And
he gives hope to all of us.
Yes, he does.
He's not. I mean, he is the hero we deserve.
He brings that toughness too, and I remember him talking preseason about toughening up. Him and Strus were gonna help Mobley and Allen toughen up. Get stronger, get tougher. That was get a little bit of attitude. And that's what both of those guys bring.
That was Tristan too. Tristan, talking to him, that was a big thing for him. His exact answer was, I'm here to beat the hell out of those two.
So Cruz wants to know, who's the Cavs' best opponent in the first round for us, of course.
The best potential opponent. It depends. If it ended right now, we would be playing. Who would be playing?
Orlando, I believe.
Doesn't matter. It depends, on who's healthy. Looking in the East, I'll be. There's not a team outside of Boston, and even Boston themselves, who I think the Cavs right now can't beat in a 4-game series. I think the Cavs can beat any team in the East in a 4-game series. Boston obviously is phenomenal, but we're even gaining ground in Boston now. Milwaukee, obviously, Giannis and Lillard. I mean, that's dangerous, but they're struggling a little bit. The Knicks, who knows how bad their injuries are going to be, and then the rust they got to shake off. So we'll see with them. But the Knicks don't really scare me. The Sixers don't scare me at all. I'll tell you, a team that scares me at full health would be the Pacers.
Yeah,
Halliburton,
Siakam pick up for them.
Siakam, Miles Turner. Miles Turner just always seems to play well against the Cavs.
Yeah, he does.
So that's a team that potentially Miami. Oh God, I'm only because it just seems like every year we have to say. I mean, Miami is one of those teams that just seems to come alive in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if they're the 1 seed or a play-in team. They're if Jimmy Butler's playing at Jimmy Butler level and Bam's playing and Tyler's playing, you can never count.
Terry Rozier usually kills us too. Now they have him. Terry Rozier.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. So that's you can never count them out. But as far as teams I'm like legitimately maybe I'm like, oh god, that's gonna be a tough game. I'd say Pacers are probably the one team that I would say 100% Halliburton with Siakam, Turner. That's scary. And like you know, Miami, if they turn it around, Rozier, and if Hemi Butler starts playing the way that he plays, and you know, we'll see. I'm going to say this. I think that, you know, a lot of people wanted the Cavs to go out and grab someone at the trade deadline. You know, we just talked about this, and you know, if they wanted to bring someone in that got bought out, okay, sure, whatever. But this team right now is as good as any team in the NBA. You can't convince me otherwise. They are as good right now. Chemistry, and they remind me a lot of the Nuggets from last year, where that team was a lot of chemistry. It was a lot of trusting each other. Yes, it didn't hurt to have Nikola Jokic, who is just an absolute freak of nature, but you know, he's able to get 15 assists a game because he trusts his teammates to knock down the shots, or he puts him in those situations. And the Cavs are very much that chemistry team. They have superstar, they have all-stars, and they're just a very deep team. So there's not a team in the NBA that 100% scares me. But yeah, there's definitely dangerous teams out there that I would be on the lookout for. But I think the Cavs right now, the season ended today. I think that they'd be way up there and making it to the finals.
Yeah, I think they will be. They'll probably add somebody in the buyout market. It won't be a bigger name guy. I don't think. I know a lot of people were yelling for Spencer Dinwiddie, but I mean, he wasn't going to come here when he could go elsewhere like he did with the Lakers and get playing time. He wasn't going to get the playing time here. But I think, you know, they may add a big with Tristan being out. They're a little thin there, or maybe another point guard. But Joe Harris coming home. It's a possibility. I mean,
a lot of people like Joe Harris. You know, another guy, I believe Kyle Lowry got bought out.
Yeah, he just got bought out.
If the Cavs wanted to add another point guard, which is not a terrible idea. You got that. You can never have two. Marcus Morris
to be bought out.
Yeah,
another big that can stretch the floor.
I mean, you know, I think the biggest question at some point becomes where are you going to put these guys in? You're going to put Joe Harrison over Sam Merrill right now? I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. I mean, no. The chemistry is nice. But who was the Western Conference teams making the playoffs? I mean, Minnesota is, who would have thought? But
yeah, they're the big surprise.
Well, I mean, but you got to look at their team. I mean, you know, Anthony Edwards was showing showing signs of superstardom last season. Cat has been, you know, just waiting for someone else to step up. Gobert's been doing what he should have been doing all along. They got good rotational pieces as well. So, you know, that's not really a surprise. The Clippers, not a surprise. They got studs on that team. Denver. I mean, Denver's only a half game back in first place, but you got three teams there sitting at 36 and 17. OKC, but Shy.
Yeah, he's a stud.
SGA is amazing.
And they picked up Gordon Hayward.
They did. Well, you know, Jalen Williams, man, I was saying Jalen Williams in the draft. I was saying his name, and no one wanted to listen to me. I did like Agbaji though. Phoenix is always gonna be dangerous. I'll tell you, the team that I'm most surprised about, I think, in the West is Utah. That's a team I think I'm the most surprised about. Is I thought that they would have made a jump again this year, and they didn't. So yeah, I still love Lauri Markkanen. You know, I wish him the best, and same with Colin Sexton, but I thought that team definitely would have made another jump this year. And, you know, unfortunately, if they've fallen, Lakers, no comment. All right. So here's, I will always love LeBron for what he did, but we are finally, and we were out last year, but we're out of the LeBron era in Cleveland. This is a different type of team. This is a different type of mentality. And it's amazing to see this team playing this well. When you turn on Sports Center, Cleveland's at the top now. It's not, it's not just an afterthought. It's no, this is one of the best teams in the NBA. And that's extremely fun to watch and extremely fun to be a part of. Let's see who's a lot of Koos, another sniper talking about Joe Harris, commenting on Derek. Shy, yes, Shy is a baller. James Double T will be the addition. However, it'll be as a James Jones vet voice with a ring. Doubt he plays. Double T. You talking about Tristan Thompson? He's already on the team. He's just suspended for, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what he was doing. One team I like with the couple additions they made in the West is Dallas, with adding Daniel Gafford from Washington and then PJ Washington. I think those are really two good moves. And I think that's a team that could rise in the second half.
That was a great pickup. Especially because they're Derek Lively has he's been hurt a lot of the season. He was a great rookie, looking to have a great rookie year this year before he got hurt. But to get Gafford, I mean, they barely give up anything for him. So that's a huge pickup. I really like that pickup a lot. And I'm going to give all the, I know that right now Knicks and Cavs fans are at each other's throat. I'm giving all the credit in the world to the New York Knicks. I've been waiting for a long time. I've always been a fan of the Knicks. The Cleveland Cavaliers are my team. Always. I've always been a homer, but I've always something about the allure of playing in Madison Square Garden. And I've always had this tremendous amount of respect for the Knicks. So to see them go out and make good moves, I really, really like OG. OG, and they saw the potential in Jalen Brunson when a lot of people didn't. Julius Randle, they didn't give up on him. Then they, like I said, they added OG, they added Bogdanovich,
20 plus points per game scorer.
Yeah, Alec Burks, who's a good veteran to come off the bench. Hey, Knicks fans, I'm going to tell you something. If we see each other in the playoffs, all respect, because I think that the front office is doing a phenomenal job with that team. And, hopefully you guys get healthy soon. Because I'd love to see that. I'd love to have that rematch. Let's go another round.
Eastern Conference Finals this time.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think the best move for the Cavs was not making a move. And there really weren't any. I mean, there was no blockbuster moves. Were there good moves? Yes. But a lot of lateral stuff, a lot of cap clearing. And really it was basically I think the two best trades were probably Gafford to Dallas and Bogdanovich to the Knicks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And the Cavs are going to struggle. They're going to hit a rough patch. I mean, there's a lot of basketball left.
How
they may lose 2-3
how
games
do you
in a row.
know that, Kevin? How do you know? Don't predict the future.
It happens. It's bound to happen. They're going to lose to a team who we thought they should beat by 20 points. It's going to happen.
Oh, it's absolutely going to happen. But I think that I'm not making any predictions because this team is playing absolutely phenomenal right now. But yes, we will lose to a team that we think we should win, that we should beat by 30. And it's how are they going to react to that? They get, that's what it's about, Koos with the I've been critical of JB in the past. The stretch has been great. Thoughts on JB in general. I never once called for JB that I can recall. If you go back and listen to All Things Cavs, maybe I did. But not that I can recall. I think that I've been critical a little bit, but I've never said, it's time to get, Doc Rivers. Oh, hang on. Today is the Chinese Lunar New Year. Is it really? I'm not sure if it is, Happy New Year. But I've never been critical of JB. Never said let's go get Doc Rivers because I think that's a disaster.
Yeah.
Lakers championship from Jinping. I'm going to say I don't think so, but you never know in the NBA. They may go on a huge run. But no, I love JB. I think he's done a great job with not only nurturing the younger players, but also being able to allow Donovan Mitchell to be who he is as a star, allowing Darius Garland to do what he does. You got to navigate all these different players and start building chemistry. There's one basketball and the Cavs, have four potential all-stars on the floor and every single night. So it is not as easy as people think. It's not go out there and win the game. You have to deal with personalities, but this team is so focused. The chemistry is so. Am I on a minutes restriction tonight? From James?
No, he's good to go. No minutes restriction.
James, how dare you? And I love you too, James, by the way. Because JB has been good this year. It's been good to see just by opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's really what it comes down to. But it's not easy. When you have that many personalities on the floor, and to see this team come together, it's a lot of coaching. It's a lot of the players themselves, and it's turned into what you're seeing right now. And George Niang said it in an interview not long ago, maybe 5, 6, 7 games ago. He said, people expected us to right off the bat be phenomenal, and it takes time to create the kind of chemistry that you need to really start winning a lot of games. And he nailed it right on the head, and you're seeing the fruit of that labor right now.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. They were putting a whole new offense in, obviously shooting a lot more threes this year. You got more three-point shooters. You're integrating a couple new guys with Niang, a new starter in the starting lineup with Strus. So it's obviously going to take time, and it did. It was rough there for a little bit, but they've hit their stride now, and they're showing what kind of team they can be when they're firing all cylinders.
I want to ask you this question, and this is a question for everyone that's watching too. Who do you feel is the most impactful player not in the starting lineup right now?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to say Karis LeVert.
You go with Karis?
Yeah.
I think for me, it would actually be Okoro.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a good choice as well. I
really want to say George Niang a little bit, just because
I know you did.
the G Wagon is my boy, but I think Okoro is just. I mean, he's got to be up there for Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, you're seeing the impact too of Sam Merrill. I mean, and other teams are. I mean, he's gotten their attention. You see him. I mean, they're making it hard for him to get open now. He's fighting a little bit harder right now because they know. I mean, he's automatic. He's just been ridiculous from 3-point range this year. Well, and he should be in the 3-point shootout.
I agree with you 100%. Instead of Donovan, or with Donovan, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Coos here with the Donovan needs to be a front runner for the MVP. He's been ridiculous. I think that he should probably be as well, and I think that it also depends on how the team finishes out. But MVP is always a popularity contest, and it's never given to the actual most valuable player of the team, unfortunately. Koos again, Karis has been more consistent, though Isaac has been great. It's and Derek each night someone else steps up and it's fun to watch. I agree with Derek. I think Derek hit it right on the head. It is every single night someone different is stepping up when they need them to. So I'm just saying, if you had to pick one player, listen, this is not, I'm putting a gun to your head, Derek. You got to pick one. Not literally, just figuratively, obviously. You got to pick one player. But I agree with you. Everyone's different. Everyone's someone different every night stepping up. But I think for me it's Okoro because to see how well he has improved offensively while also being so good defensively. And I mean, even this might be his best defensive year that he's had. Being known for defense is his best defensive year. So I think that would probably be why I go with Okoro. But man, I mean, you can't. I mean, like Derek said, I mean, it's like it's someone else every single night. You could say Karras, you could say Okoro, you could say George, you could say Merrill, you could say Sam. I mean, went from who to straight up. Derek said he had to go with Kevin's favorite Cavalier, Dean Wade.
Thanks, Derek.
Dean is a phenomenal human being, and I think that you know what, there's going to be a game this year where Dean Wade's going to have like 20 points and 10 rebounds, and everyone's going to say, you know what, good thing we didn't get rid of Dean Wade. I don't care what anyone says, it's going to happen this year. There's going to be a game the Cavs squeak out by like 2 points off the back of Dean Wade, and people are going to be like, thank God they didn't trade Dean Wade.
He plays hard.
I don't know if I like the way you the tone of your voice with that answer.
He makes threes sometimes.
He had a good game last night or 2 nights ago.
He did. Oh, yeah, he was about 3 or 4. Yeah, he's good for one every 20 games or so.
There's no Dean Wade slander on this podcast, sir. They have won 17 of 18. I don't care. I'll go out. You know what? I could go out there and probably hit a 3 once in a while too.
Yeah, let's hope they keep it rolling. I mean, it's been fun. I know they'll have the Celtics coming up next month. I'm looking forward to playing them and the Knicks with all their new guys.
Well, real quick, let's see their schedule before we end this shindig, which is sad for me because I'm having such a ball right now. Thank you for everyone who is watching and interacting.
47 minutes.
I know, and I know you hate long podcasts, but suck it, I'm back. I say that to my boss. I mean that with all due respect, sir.
I understand. No offense taken.
So we will be back at home Monday, the 12th, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's going to be a win without Joel Embiid. But you never know. And then their last game before the All-Star game is at home on the 14th against the Chicago Bulls.
Appreciate it, Coos. Thanks for watching.
Do you have to be bald to be on all these cameras? Yes, you do. Yeah. That's why James will probably be the next host with me. You either have to be bald or you have to wear a beanie, just so no one can see your hair, your beautiful hair.
Right.
You guys can't see it right now, but to my left, she's coming to frame. This is my little basketball player, and this is the reason I went bald in the first place. This is my daughter, and her team is killing it, and she's been doing a great job. So shout out to St. John Vianney girls basketball and Coach Joe Maselli for doing a phenomenal job with these girls. But man, this has been fun. It's great being back on ATC. Everyone, make sure you check out all of our high school basketball coverage from all across Northeast Ohio. Make sure you check out all of our great podcasts across all of Believeland media, especially all things. What are you doing?
Hi.
All right,
You got a video bomber.
Get out of here. She refuses to go to sleep. But make sure you keep up with James and Guardians of the CLE. Make sure you guys are checking out the Pile Driver podcast with Mike and Dean. We are on the road to WrestleMania. There's going to be some amazing things from those boys, as well as the local indie shows. They definitely have their finger on the pulse of professional wrestling, and thank you, James. Thank you very much. Everything here at Believeland, absolutely phenomenal, killing it all the way around from top to bottom. The writers, the podcasters, everybody just doing phenomenal things, and glad I'm back. Glad ATC is back. And Kevin, you got anything left to say?
No, welcome back.
We will see you when we see you.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.